You're watching the Tesla Life Live, a show by the Tesla community for the Tesla community with your host, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 284. Here we are on Wednesday. What is it, the 12th? No, the 7th. The 7th of December. The 12th will come eventually. Don't worry. It'll get here.
But hockey day chatting.
There you go. Kudos to Patrick, who just keeps modifying that opening. It's getting better and better. I don't know how he can keep upping himself like that, but great job, Patrick.
Practice.
Well, here we are. We've got our co-host. We got Mr. Casey Green joining us from the undisclosed area completely. How are you today, sir?
Somewhere in the southeast mid-Atlantic area. I am doing pretty well. I found the lights. Well, I found them earlier, but I finally set them up. I got this camera. I needed the lights because the camera was making me look like really, really brown, and I'm not that brown in real life. So here we are, approximating what I really look like.
Yeah, this is not my real color at all. I'm all blown out. It's not good at all. I need a new camera.
Right?
Whatever.
I held up the phone next to the camera. I'm like, it's close enough.
Well, it's all part of Casey's his hiding from everybody. So that's undisclosed location, different camera view. He'll be wearing a hat next week. So take it while you can get it.
Will it be a Tesla hat or another?
Yeah, well, put on a rigging hat to really confuse people.
Right. My cyber sweaters arrived. They're in the other room. Otherwise,
the cyber sweater. Excellent.
Yeah. And the spec glasses arrived too, but they're in another. They're in my address of record.
Also joining us, we have Mr. Patrick Connor joining us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
Hello, I am good. I bought a little bit of Tesla shares today. It's I didn't think I'd ever be able to pick it up this low again. So whoever's spreading FUD out there and driving the price down, thank you.
I'm hoping it stays down.
But now it's time to stop, right, Patrick?
Hold on. Now I'm buying. A few more days. Let me pay and then buy some shares.
Okay, I'll give Casey a couple days. But yeah, this is not stock advice, but buying it at this price, I think it's a deal. So otherwise, I wouldn't be buying it. So
especially given our last show on Thursday. I mean,
just my opinion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we don't know what the Q4 numbers are going to be. We'll find out soon. But we just there was a report of 100,000 vehicles being produced in November from Shanghai. I mean, if one that means if they could continue that run rate for an entire year, that's over 1.2 million out of one factory. So it's looking really good to me. Yeah, but you do you.
Certainly shows that they have the capability, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, after the show, I spoke with my mother, who drives over the road long haul trucking, and her favorite feature of the TeslaSemi presentation was the passing uphill presentation.
I thought it was going to be something more mundane and practical, like the light test is one button, and you have to do that every time before you drive.
Right, the light test and the suspension dump, but the fact that you can actually not lose all that time climbing the mountain, and then that it stays under control coming back down the other side of the mountain.
Yes. Well, it's a huge difference because truckers apparently are supposed to descend the hill at the same speed they went up the hill because that's saving on their brakes, right? Keeping in a gear that keeps the motor from running away from them and having to use one of those off ramps. So. It's a huge waste of time because they're typically traveling at 1/4 or less of the speed that they would normally travel on a flat section of road.
30 to 20 miles an hour. Yeah.
And of course, if you don't know this, truckers are basically getting paid by the mile. So the slower miles they turn, the less money they're making. So they would definitely want to be traveling faster if they could. And of course, with the semi coming downhill and using the regen braking, they got no problems of overheating their brakes. So another win, and of course another win on not using the physical brakes and not having to replace them. So
and then you go further because it's regen. I asked her about where the engineer mentioned that they at the brake check area they were cold brakes, and I said, well, do you think you'd be able to skip that after they realize what you got? And she said, well, they still got rubber tires, so they might want to make sure your tires aren't overheated. But since they're not checking your brakes, it should still be faster.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of the Semi, Patrick's got our first story that comes from his carswithcords.net site. What's that all about, Patrick?
That's right. So the Semi event was last week, and we all made guesses about how big the battery was going to be in the announcement, and then they didn't tell us. What?
Not even a hint.
Yeah, right. But after the fact, we did get a few more hints. And so I blogged about it and tried to figure out, continuing that same guessing game based on a little more data. So we know they did a 500-mile trip. If you look really closely at that graph, you'll see that it only used about 93% of the battery. Mm-hmm. So using that and what we knew that it was less than 2 kilowatt hours per mile, that battery could have been as big as 1,075 kilowatt hours. Yeah. But then Musk tweeted that the efficiency was 1.7 kilowatt hours per mile, and that changed everything. So using that number and the trip they did with the extra capacity it had, that rounded it out to 914 kilowatt hour capacity. Then, of course, there's always some reserve in EVs. When your car says it's 100% full, it's not really 100% full. That's the user exposed portion of the battery pack. Manufacturers do this because they want those packs to last 10 plus years. And deep cycling the batteries makes sure that they wouldn't last that long. So some of it's always locked away to prevent that deep cycling. And we don't know how much it is in the case of the semi-truck, but just taking a guess of 6% for a reserve, that took that 914 up to 969 kilowatt hours, which I just thought was a very Muskian number. So that was my final guess, which was pretty close to, on the show, I think I said 975. So I'm still, which anytime you put out a number like that, your brain does something called anchoring, and then you try to justify why that was right, which could be exactly what I did, because I got pretty close at 969. I guess I should have said the reserve is going to be 6.4%, and then I could have got exactly back to my number. But
there you go.
So what do you think of my theory about the NACS connector?
Oh, so that it's going to be NACS?
Mm.
Yeah, except the high end of it, right? Yeah, that's so we've seen Tesla do this before, where the industry's going one way, they go another. If they've made NACS a standard and it supports megawatt level charging, I don't see why they would use a different one.
Right.
So
some other news came out that MCS2, part of the reason they went to the triangular shape for MCS3 was somebody claimed the hairpin connectors on MCS2 was patent infringing. So it looks like they have to change the connector anyway. So why would they change it to MCS3? Further adds to my my thinking. I mean, MCS3 is more capable. But now, they're trying to push NACS on everybody. Why not use NACS on the truck, especially with the comment about Cybertruck being the same architecture?
Exactly. Yes. That would certainly make that architecture portable. It would be the same connectors everywhere. That gives them more economies of scale instead of, the semi's low enough volume they could, and high enough price. They could probably, they could easily get away with doing something different there if they wanted to. But that's just not how they
or give it a dual or triple connector. Give you some options, because
those cables are expensive.
They're going to be all over the place. If it makes sense to plug it into a CCS or a NACS or whatever.
Plus, there's that whole backup confidence.
Or of course,
if you run out of charge, you can plug it in a regular supercharger.
Maybe even more simpler. Maybe they just provide the adapters in the kit.
There you go.
And just let them have the adapters. Comes with the truck. It's expensive enough they can probably throw in a few bucks for an adapter.
But they could also throw in a mobile charger.
True.
Because as we talked about, a mobile charger, as silly as it seems, actually has a pretty good use case for just running the cabin. If they ever do more than a day cabin, especially. But even in a day cab, you might be sitting in there running the AC while you're getting loaded or whatever. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We've had some other speculation out there on the size of the battery, but the other thing that we speculated on was the actual weight of the semi, the actual trailer or truck itself. We don't know. We know that truck and trailer can be up to 82,000 pounds, and we know that the test that they ran with a van trailer was at 81,000 pounds through Highway 5. But we may have to wait until someone like, say, Zach and Jesse get their own where they can weigh it. Because
they don't have an NDA.
Because I don't think that Pepsi's going to be weighing the truck and letting us know. I think that's going to be quiet. And of course, will there be
who works at a weigh station to let us know?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Although at the weigh station they weigh both of them. It would have to go through without a trailer.
Yeah.
Right. We already know the total can be 81 or 82,000, and that doesn't help us. So what
to get them there when it runs bobtail too.
Go drop that trailer and come back.
So I've seen several credible seeming guesses. They say up to about 10 to 12,000 over average semi, 27,000, and for some reason 15,000.
Did we lose Casey, or is it me?
It's
What's
flashing.
that, Patrick?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having some connection problems.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Keep going. Go ahead. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Now.
So Casey, I've also heard that a standard diesel tractor can weigh somewhere between 15 and 25,000.
Right.
And that's a pretty wide range.
It is.
It's going to be tough to compare apples to apples here because, of course, normal diesel day cabs, there's zero room to move around in them except for the two seats. Whereas, of course, the TeslaSemi's got that extra large step-in cubicle that you can get into. Almost, I would say, it's almost a sleeper cab. It's not quite as large, but it is getting there.
Yeah. Another thing that my mom pointed out is on her truck they get about 300 to 600 miles on with both saddle tanks full, and everybody insists that she can do 700 to 1,500 miles on full tanks, and I'm wondering, are they towing something lighter than she is, not going through the mountains, or have they got like extra large tanks? But
well, of course she could be. Certainly the loads are different for every truck run typically, right? Unless you're hauling the same commodity over and over.
Right.
But a full 53-foot load of chips is going to be a lot lighter than a load of Pepsi. It's going to be completely different. Even though they're taking up the same volume, you're going to have some different weights and you're going to have some different mileages based on those weights. So we will have to see as it goes along. But I wanted to say hello to Anders, or I guess good night to Anders, because it's 1 a.m. in the morning there in Sweden. And hello to Hockey Day and JT as well, joining us in the chat room. If you're not already joining us in the chat room, please, next time, connect and join in on the chat. We'd love to see you in there. Say hello if you're in there now. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the Santa Claus parade. And of course, the TeslaSemi, which is now, I guess, spending most of its time in Modesto, California. This past weekend, they decided to let it loose already. Join the community out there, show them what they've got. And what happened is they joined the Santa Claus parade to bring it out and show the community. So let's just share some video that we've got here.
Yeah, and that was kind of cool because part of the reason that Modesto even ordered them was because they needed to be a zero emission facility, and this gets them there.
There it is, traveling along. It looks like it's almost snowing.
There's snowing now.
And we got Chester Cheeto in the back. There we go.
Oh, I didn't notice Chester in there. All right, that's pretty cool. And there was some music involved, but it was YouTube, and there was some music.
Yep.
Well, hopefully they won't slam us on a Christmas song, but you never know.
They definitely would, especially now. So it's a good thing it was muted.
Yep.
So out doing some community outreach with the new Semi, letting the people see the new vehicle on the road as it air horns its way down the parade route.
There you go.
Very good. Next, want to talk a little bit about a rebate that's available for Model 3 and Model Ys if you take purchase of a inventory vehicle and if you take possession before the end of the year. So $3,750 is available to anyone that can fulfill those requirements. And kind of thinking that this has got something to do with the tax break that's coming to Americans after the end of this year. So January 1st, it comes into effect. We're up to a $7,500 rebate. Will be eligible to people purchasing EVs that fall within the, mandates of the rules that they have in place. Income, price of the actual EV if it's under a certain amount. So you've got these things that are required. But what's really nice about this rebate this time is that it's transferable at purchase. So you don't have to file your taxes and then get it. They can just take it right off of your purchase price at the dealership, at the delivery center, and you've got yourself the rebate. So I imagine that there's many people that have a vehicle on order, and if it's coming up for delivery in December, they're looking for ways to delay that until the first of the year when it should qualify for some, or if not all, of that rebate. So yeah. I got to believe there's a lot of people calling their Tesla representatives and saying, let's just delay this a little bit longer. Or if they're being told to come pick it up, they're putting in that one optional delay that you're able to do with a ordered car from Tesla.
So as you guys know, I'm a member of quite a few local clubs because of my nomadic nature. However, I've seen about 10 different people attempt to get their order delayed to varying successes. And Tesla really wants these cars delivered. And so I'm hoping that this helps out, because for many people, that would be all they get from the tax credit. Some people might get the full tax credit, and that I just understand that. But you also have to look at, if you fail to delay it correctly, not only do you get put back in line, your price will go up to current. So be very careful with this. I do understand, and I do say, yeah, go for it, try it, but be careful. Tesla isn't exactly flexible with this right now. So
yeah, so having this markdown or discount or rebate or whatever you want to call it from Tesla is super rare. They do not do this very often at all. If you've already got an order in,
and they're doing the same thing in China right now too.
Yeah. So Mark, you touched on some really good points, that if you take this deal and you get it now, you don't have to worry about whether you're going to qualify for the incentive next year. Or maybe you end up getting a raise at work and now your income's too high, or
take it back.
What could happen.
Yeah.
And, or like Casey said, the price could change because you get moved back in line, and then the prices change, and now you're paying something else. Sure, you get a bigger discount, but then if you're paying more, it didn't change anything. So this is a rare opportunity. If you're in a window where you were getting your car, I would grab it now, but that's just me. I don't think I'm going to qualify for the incentives anyway. So yeah, this one, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Yeah,
you don't have to wait an entire year.
Here. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's a plus in many ways, but also it might give some people the opportunity to jump in that are not even in line and grab a inventory vehicle, collect a discount, and get out quickly. So that might be a big plus for somebody that's been thinking about ordering a Tesla and dreading maybe the 2 or 3 or 4 month wait that they may have ahead of themselves for a popular model like the Y. So this is a way to get ahead of that line as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like we keep saying, with Tesla, if if you see something you like, get it before they change their mind. Pray I don't alter it further.
As someone mentioned in The Empire Strikes Back. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Is that Elon playing Darth Elon?
Pray I don't alter the deal
There's a meme there
anymore.
somewhere.
Yes, indeed. Next, speaking of manufacturing, we've got a possible prototype that has been seen a few times now in the wild. Actually, a couple of different cars have actually been seen. So, yeah. So Casey's got some video here. And what's interesting is that both the front and back ends are blacked out. They're what's being protected in these cars. There was also a red one spotted in the Fremont factory area as well. So this white one and a red one was spotted.
Also, something I noticed on Sunday while I was doing the chat with friends, this vehicle back here, it's clearer in another picture. Let's see if I can shrink this down and go to that other picture instead. There we go. So we can see the rear is covered. There's a flap here, which doesn't make much sense because there's nothing there.
That's for the exhaust pipe.
Maybe a reflector. And then in the front, they've got the flap for the towing eye, and then some camouflage here and here. Some folks thought that they saw cameras here, but they're probably snaps for the headlight cover. And then some folks think that this might be a camera, either front facing or side facing, and it probably does not have ultrasonic sensors because Tesla's going away from them. And then we can see that truck that I had noticed again much more clearly in this photo.
What are you interested in the truck? What?
It's wearing the same camouflage. Only one other person's called it out.
On the back of the truck.
Is this like an industry refresh meeting, or is Tesla doing?
Yeah, it's the mall where all these car testers go to during the office hours. Yeah.
But, a meeting of car testers.
This could be part of the Project Highland that we've been hearing about. Although Project Highland has probably got a lot to do with the internals of the car. We're looking at reducing part counts. We're looking at combining a number of things, maybe integrating some of the Model Y features like the single castings for the front and the back. There's probably a number of things that aren't cosmetic, but there may be some cosmetic exterior things as well. We have heard rumors about cameras. We've heard rumors about them wanting autopilot cameras to be out a little bit further, to have a little bit of a different field of vision. So that could be part of this. Putting the front and back camo on this car, it even could be just misleading the public. Maybe only the front is changed, the back is just pretending. So these are things that we're not really sure about. But Tesla, again, as we've spoken in the past, is a company that iterates, and these are some of the changes that it's testing in its newest model. There's also talk about Fremont factory having some of the machinery moved around because they're anticipating that the line is going to change a little bit for Model 3, Model Y. So this could be also part of these.
Permits for that too.
Yeah, and the permits have been filed, and that's why this information has come out. It's not like Tesla's advertising this. They had to file it with a government agency, and that's how that information gets out of the company. But it'll be interesting to see if in the new year we start to get a slightly different flavor of the Model 3. And certainly it'll be interesting to see if Tesla says anything about it, or as some other changes have happened to the Model 3 and Y, they don't even really say anything. They just continue to roll off the line, and maybe the website changes slightly. It's something that we'll be keeping an eye on, and be curious to see what type of hints or information we get before the car is refreshed.
Yeah, which could be any minute.
I'm going to go get a camo wrap and put on the front of my car and just park it somewhere and see what.
Well, that's another good point, though. Is Tesla so rarely changes the outside that we've seen them in cases where they've completely changed stuff, and we didn't even know because they look the same on the outside. They didn't even need the camo. Like with the all-wheel drive Model 3, the only way we even saw it was when they had the calibration, the ABS calibration wheels on it, and it's a little hard to hide them because they're steelies with the encoders and the antennas.
Yeah, Derek mentioned car bras. That was a thing like in the 90s, maybe, or even earlier.
80s and 90s.
It's kind of not done anymore just because those end up rubbing on your paint, and everyone's doing PPF and wraps and other stuff now instead.
We also end up with the two-tone because of the UV.
Right. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, remember that the underneath the car bra would be perfect paint, and then above it would be the UV baked-in paint,
faded stuff. Yeah, that's how. They need to make sure that if you're ever doing an '80s movie, you have some cars with this.
Exactly. Well, next, Casey's got a story for us about Giga Shanghai and production there.
Yeah, so Giga Shanghai set another record and sold over 100,000 vehicles in November.
Wow.
That, doubters. So they delivered 100,291 units. So it's the first time they've gone over 100,000, and then they had a little tweet in Chinese about it, Mandarin, I should say. And kudos to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not see this was on our list. I spoiled it by mentioning it earlier. Sorry.
But it is interesting that this shows that Tesla does have the capability at Shanghai to, if everything is running properly and COVID lockdowns are a thing of the past, we could be hitting over a 1.2 million run rate for the year for a single factory.
One factory. So, and two other bits of current news about Giga Shanghai is currently it's saying that they're not running as efficiently as they could because they're having trouble hiring enough people, which if they did this with half the staff, whoo! and on the good news side of it is the same sort of discounts that we're seeing right now for the impending tax credit in the US. Tesla's running something similar for the impending end of the tax credit in China. So not that anybody here can hear us in China, but if you're on a VPN or something, or some Chinese people, tell them hurry up and get it done before December. The end of December.
Yeah. And of course, this story indicated, Casey, that these were vehicles sold. So actually transferred to customers. So really the production rate could even be
higher. Yes. Yeah. Because Tesla won't tell us what they produced until the end of the quarter, which by then, it's not as cool,
Yeah.
When is the Chinese New Year this year?
I don't know when the Chinese New Year is, but the tax credit and the production report are both on end 31 December.
Oh.
So right with the end of the year.
Interesting. I made the assumption that China would not be using the same calendar. My bad.
I think they are. They have the Chinese New Year for social reasons, and like the Thai, they have our Gregorian calendar, but they have a completely different year. I think they're 400 or 500 years ahead of us.
So they know the future. They can tell us if we're going to be alive in 400 or 500 years.
Right.
Well,
excellent.
Well, I use the Kyrgyzstan calendar, so this is year 22,022. So
yeah, I got my 1223 calendar in a bag, ready to go.
Right. Yes.
The HE, human era.
Right.
Or Holocene era, if you want to be all scientific about it.
Well, now it's time to go underground. And Casey's got a story about the Boring Company.
Oh, okay. I thought that Patrick had this one, but I'll do 4. So in Kentucky, in Louisville specifically, the Boring Company has said they might do a boring tunnel there. And as we talked about on the What Drives Us show, we'll see when they actually put Poof Rock or Godot or any of them TBMs in the ground, and then we'll say, hey, they're doing it. But right now, it's just hey, it's looking really good right now.
Yeah. Apparently, this is an 8-year plan that Louisville has to upgrade their state fairgrounds and have a connection between the airport, the state convention center, and of course a university. and the downtown as well. So this would be a massive project.
Yes.
Unlike 2 1-mile tunnels, this would definitely be a lot larger. But more along the scale of what Las Vegas is expanding to.
Right, and they open for bids in June, so we'll see where they actually end.
Spam risk.
Whoa.
And,
What was that?
Spam risk. Somebody's calling me. We'd like to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. And then they find out I've got a Tesla and they hang up. Oh no, we don't cover those. Yeah, so this will be exciting, especially if we see the tunnel machine go in the ground, because I enjoy a good boring loop story, and eventually maybe one of these things will have the air partially evacuated from it and become the first production commercial hyperloop. Yeah, but hopefully not with your personal car, because you'll need to bring some scuba tanks.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Again, Boring Company has been successful in Las Vegas, and we're looking for city number 2 as they present a lot of proposals out there. Some of them have been rejected. Some of them haven't heard about much progress, but it'll be interesting to see when Boring Company racks up another win.
Yeah, they've had others where they, the city is like, yeah, they're coming, and then like they disappear off of the Boring Company website.
So something happened, but it's just quiet about it. So
very quiet. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm excited either way.
Yeah. Well, we're going to just move the order of stories here so that Patrick gets in here with the next one. And this, of course, is for what's happening in New England.
Oh,
that's right. Yes. So this comes to us from Teslarati, and is titled "South Burlington Approved Zoning Change That Brings Tesla Closer to Its First Vermont Sales Center." So the town of South Burlington has been talking about where they would allow direct car sales. And they've made some zoning changes on Monday. They approved a plan that would reorganize several things. 3 districts are being shuffled around. And the site of a former Hannaford, which I guess is a grocery store in that region. Okay. And they will allow vehicle sales there. So I'm surprised to hear that there's an area, a state that doesn't have Tesla sales in it yet. There was
I
one.
can tell you a couple. You got
Texas
and South Carolina and Pennsylvania.
Right. Yes. So with the commission, those all have good reasons. Yes, yeah,
they don't have good reasons. They have BS reasons.
Yes. I mean, this was just zoning, not like there's major opposition from the legacy dealership
dealer association.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there was one person
laws
who objected to this. Mr. Andy Champagne, who wants Tesla's service and sales centers to be put on hold until Elon Musk is, quote, running his companies ethically.
All his companies.
Yes.
All his companies don't have any say in this, just Tesla. Come on now.
He added that Elon Musk has decided to turn all the cars off, then all we're left with are glorified paperweights, and no one can fix any of them. Okay, so this is just
the lawsuit on that would be just
a little bit of a conspiracy theory happening there with Mr. Champlain.
Yes, a little bit of FUD. Right. So that was an interesting story, and we might have yet another a state with Tesla for sale.
So is this guy confusing ethics with right to repair? Because I support right to repair, and I admire ethics, but what do you define as ethics, Mr.?
Well, I don't know about him, saying if Elon Musk decided to turn off all the cars, you'd be left with everyone would be left with a paperweight. It's like, really? Like, okay, the cars are connected to the Tesla mothership. We understand that, but it brings along these other benefits. I have not heard of Elon deciding to shut a state off, or a country, or even a city for that matter. So I'm not really sure where this guy's coming from.
Even those cars are still running. They just can't supercharge or get service.
So he doesn't like connected cars. fine. He doesn't have to buy a connected car.
Right.
That doesn't
If you
mean
don't
that you
like-
should disallow other people from buying something that they want just because you don't believe in it.
Yeah, if you don't like carrot cake, don't eat carrot cake.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I was
Maybe
going somewhere
he
else
is-
with that, and I remember I like to be a family-friendly show.
Maybe he is part of the dealer association, Patrick, after all.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Who is this guy? No. Why? What might motivate him to say these things?
Let me look him up real
Exactly.
quick.
Interesting questions.
Exactly. Kind of
Andy
weird.
Champagne. Who the hell are you?
But,
Does he have a LinkedIn profile?
next, we're going to talk a little bit about.
Don't go
Construction
there.
company.
We don't need to dox anybody. Stop.
Yeah.
I shouldn't
And
even mention
Akamai.
a name, but it is in the so it's public information.
Casey's got our next story, and this
Yes,
one,
thank you.
of
Yes,
course,
next.
is of course about radar. And I thought we got rid of radar, Casey.
No, we didn't get rid of it. We just stopped feeding it into the car computer. Like my car is still beaming out radar beams, but I can't see what it does anymore.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Some cars went out without radar after a while, right?
There are quite a few cars that actually don't have a radar module installed. So, Elon had been quoting, or he was speaking with Fred of Electrek, and he said that the radar that's in my car isn't worth having. It's not as good as just using cameras. Where he said that there might be some benefit is in an ultra high def, high resolution radar solution. And so then we get this this letter from Tesla to the I believe the FCC.
Yes.
And it's trying to stop something from happening tomorrow. So they have a confidentiality agreement for this product and documentation, manuals, photos, etc. All that confidentiality expires tomorrow. So today, sorry,
this was yesterday's.
It was yesterday. I discovered it yesterday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
And so this would have come out today, and they've authorized their agent to speak on their behalf, and they've requested another 60 days of keeping this thing secret. So in the end of February, we might see something going on with radar, and it doesn't seem that it's going to be the same thing as on the Model X and Model 3. Model X and Model S, where you've got the ultrasonic radar facing inside the cabin, to make sure that there's occupancy detection. This sounds like what Musk was talking to Fred about. So they want to hold back user manuals, internal photos, external photos, Tesla setup photos, and they're all listed as confidentiality ending today. However, the device will not be marketed until mid-January 2023. So to avoid any unnecessary disclosure and competitive harm before our product launches, we'd like to request the above exhibits be held for another 60 days until the 7th of February 2023.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this is. I wonder if they were successful in blocking this today, because of course
It looks like it because we don't have any pictures,
well,
Right. Yes.
it could,
except for the extension letter.
yeah, could be the end of the day too, or something along that
Could
line.
be. It could be at midnight. We'll see.
But
Speculation.
It's interesting that this could be that high res radar that we've heard about.
Yes.
Because of course many people were questioning the removal of radar in the first place because of some of the benefits that we noticed about in being able to bounce the radar off the car in front of you, go underneath it, and pick up the braking of a car in front of the next car in front of you. So having more time to react is always a plus. And that seemed to be something that would disappear because visually you would have a much harder time in understanding that a car in front of the car that you're sitting behind is braking, besides maybe picking up on a third
Brake light
through a window. But other than that, you may have difficulty.
I've noticed that that my FSD beta display doesn't show the car in front of the car in front of me. Sometimes it will stop, like you said, if you see a brake light or whatever, but it doesn't show the shadow car. Like I think there might be a car there, like it does off to the ones on the sides. Like the ones that radar surely did catch before, and I could see them on the old version of the display. They literally, it says there's one car in front of you, and there's 6. If there's like a truck or a bus, a couple cars ahead, it'll catch that. But it's like, this van in front of you is all there is. It's like, if I can see that with my eyes a couple inches lower than yours triplex, how can you not see that?
Yeah, I just want to say that it is really hard for Tesla to keep a secret.
Oh yeah.
So just like the drone armies darken the skies over their construction sites, there are people that are watching every code release they do to the apps, every firmware release they do to the vehicles, and in this story, every filing that they do with various government agencies around the world. They're watched like a hawk.
That's good though. It keeps them straight. So there's speculation that this is just like I said, just like Elon was talking to Fred about, just a new solution for the radar, make it one more good high quality sensor that can actually correlate. There's also speculation that this could be the beginning of hardware 4.
Yes, it's
possible. I don't think we're going to be seeing hardware 4 before this Project Highland comes out or the Cybertruck, unless there's another possibility I'm throwing out there. Maybe this radar unit is used on the Semi, and because the Semi just has a couple examples in customer hands right now, maybe they're waiting until they put this radar unit somewhere else than just the Semi.
Never thought of that, but that's possible, certainly.
Yeah.
Because it's got 12 cameras. Somebody counted them all.
Oh, the Semi's got 12 cameras.
Yeah, and then the autopilot board, autopilot 3, Hover 3, still only has the 8 or 9 camera inputs. The cars all have 9 cameras now, but I think it only uses the 8 because that's all it's using for self-driving, and then the MCU is handling that last camera.
Okay.
They could be using 2 boards, but that might be like a prototype of hardware 4 in them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's talk about whether or not hardware 4 is going to be part of the changes to, say, Project Highland. Will they switch boards at that point? I would say that they'd love to time it that way, but it probably depends on inventory and the deal that they've signed with the board manufacturer. That Tesla seems to, run out of those parts or get to the point where those parts are legacy, and then they move over to the new version once those legacy parts have run out, because they don't want to waste inventory, right? They don't want to waste. They want to use up what they've got and then switch over to the new. Barring that they probably do keep some extras for parts. For warranty,
yeah. But don't forget also that we are in the middle of a part shortage, chip shortage, and shipping issue. So, even if Tesla's ready, they may not actually be ready.
And that's another thing that we really don't know about the Semi is, what is it going to use the same kind of hardware? Is there a modification or a difference in a Semi truck over say a Model S or X that they're using the motors from? Who knows? It's kind of a one-off vehicle. It may have other things that are required, like that light check thing. That's probably not too intensive, but there are probably some other items. The suspension drop and other things might correlate to suspension drops with air ride systems. Could be the same thing, but
the light check is probably something they pulled out of the toolbox and put on your screen. And the suspension dump has been there for Model S and Model X. Again, not exposed to the user, but if you go into your service menu on a car with any of the smart air suspensions, at least from cars that shipped with MCU2, I actually have a suspension dump button on my Model X.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but my question is, does the light check in the Semi play Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
I didn't even know they just ripped it out of the toy box. They're not suggesting that it's still as bad as it once was, just that it could hurt getting a new product or part into the chain.
I think they were smart not to talk about FSD autopilot stuff during the Semi presentation.
Oh yeah, I did look to see if the service manuals were part of my subscription, and they're not.
Okay. They're going to need millions of miles of shadow driving on that before they even think about it. So
it didn't look like even the Tesla driver had it, because he was making a lot of micro adjustments throughout that short video.
Actually, I am kind of surprised. Like the video that we showed earlier of the Semi on the parade route, I thought for sure that PepsiCo would have those trucks out on the road, and the drone army would just take off right after them and follow them wherever they were going. I thought for sure that was going to happen, but I haven't seen anything on the internet to indicate that those trucks have even left besides that
shops.
parade.
It could be in the shops.
Could be.
Hey, here's how you work on all the stuff. Here, come meet your friendly Tesla mobile mechanic.
Yeah, but I got to believe that they would put some drivers in place and even do some short runs. You know, that's the best way to understand it. As you know, it's not that it's completely foreign to a truck driver as to how to drive a new truck. So I just thought there'd be a little bit more action on the roads with these things. But maybe we'll see that this coming week. Not sure.
They're making commercials or pouring over the telemetry data from the previous drive. Free chips and soda. Who knows? But I'm excited to get some of them Drone Army leaks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of holidays, we of course are approaching the seasonal Christmas holiday, and there is the hope of the holiday software update that we've received for the past number of years. Sometimes we get notifications about having a hot release, but maybe didn't occur that way. But other times we get surprised with little bits and pieces that delight people. Especially last year, there was the ability to train your car on how to do its own light show, which was a bit of a surprise. So we get these little nuggets and additions to the car. This year, TeslaScope put together a listing of possibilities as they see it. Of course, the first one on their list is the Apple Music that has been rumored, the Easter egg placed at the Peterson Museum with the UPC code. So that looks like that is coming based on why would they do that at the Peterson Museum if it wasn't coming. We've got the ability to have the music player to be improved with a new sound system that it will play higher fidelity, which is what Title's claim to fame is. They have a higher fidelity music listing. This, of course, would allow Apple Music to access that higher fidelity as well. So that might be a combo with the first one.
And now that Elon and Tim Cook are friends,
that's right. Now that they've walked around the reflective garden and they're all in sync, could be it. Here's another interesting one that a lot of us have really forgotten about, and that, of course, is the Wi-Fi MyQ garage door support. So this is something that Elon mentioned a couple of years ago when they took the I guess it was the component that would open garage doors out of the cars. It was one of the options that was taken away. It wasn't standard anymore.
I think.
HomeLink, correct. So he had mentioned that most garage doors were switching to Wi-Fi anyways, and they would include that in their software pack. So that may be a possibility of something that's coming. That
subscriptions are too darn high.
Yeah.
Don't forget you need subscription for this Wi-Fi garage door.
I hope there's no subscription for that.
And your Apple and your Disney and your YouTube. Oh man, so many subscriptions for this car.
Yeah.
Why would you need a subscription for Wi-Fi?
Because Chamberlain charges for that.
Oh, Chamberlain Garage Doors charges for that.
Yep.
Sounds like a BMW move to me. That's no good.
Yeah, they I think they're giving you a 30-day, 60-day trial, and then
isn't that nice of them?
Right. At some point, there's a 1-year trial so that you'd forget, and all of a sudden your credit card got pinged.
Oh man, that sucks.
At least it's only $2. I mean, like for $2, okay, no big deal. But
$2 a day, $2 a month,
but man,
just
after a while, you
get
subscription fatigue. Well, I mean, when you look at how much my car uses the HomeLink, like come in, opens, leave, closes, and if you trust it not to close the door on itself, you could have it do them both. I don't trust my car not to close the door on itself, though. With the
right, but I mean, you just want to buy that part and be done with it. You don't want to have to pay every month.
Yes.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, I would much rather pay. Was it $500 they were charging at the end for HomeLink?
Yeah.
I'd much rather just do it one time, given how many miles and how long I keep the car. But let's see, 500 divided by 2.
It'll take a couple of years to recuperate at $2
for 50 months,
right? Yeah.
I was told there would be no math.
250 months divided by 12.
There's also talk of being able to turn on the remote light show through your application on your phone. So you can fire up the light show with your phone and maybe run a few other gadgets with it, like anti-emission mode, which of course we know is fart mode. There may be a few other trinkets in there that allow you to do some things mobily through your app as opposed to having to do it in the car. So that's kind of cool. And they hint at a couple of new games, which they failed to mention what they are. But they think there might be a couple of new games that join the group. And there is some more that they're unable to share at this point because they don't want to divulge their sources. If they were to come out with something specific that hasn't been mentioned before, it may give Tesla the idea that certain engineers have got some loose lips and have been leaking to the media.
Yeah, I like this in a way because remember the double fire emoji. For those of us on legacy cars and then people without speakers who, not legacy cars, just people without speakers, legacy. We got kind of a short stick last year, and that second fire emoji never arrived. One other thing that they mentioned that came out later in the Steam client, the Steam game downloader, it now has a bool, a true-false setting for is it Chrome OS or is it Tesla?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're looking at the browser that's connecting to the Steam software, and they're determining whether you're in a Tesla or not. So that could certainly lead to maybe some of those extra games they're talking about are
Cyberpunk finally arrives 3 years later.
Hundreds that are available on Steam. But of course, that's probably going to require a subscription too.
Oh yeah, you know it. Because you're going to need the premium internet. So,
or you could be on Wi-Fi.
You could be on Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just games you've already bought, and they just
not too many people say, let's mid-February, let's go into the garage, go to the Tesla, it's freezing, and we'll watch some video and we'll play some games live.
No, that's something you'll do at the supercharger. Like, man, because remember Tesla did this thing recently since the three of us got our cars, where they used to say, hey, stop at the supercharger for 6 minutes. Oh, okay, stop there for 12 minutes. Now they're like, oh, it's such a pain to have to keep stopping. So let's minimize to get you down to 2 stops. They're going to be 60 minutes each, which is just
right. And if they have Wi-Fi at the supercharger location, you can stop, charge for a long time, and play games, watch a movie, do whatever.
Well, that part's nice, but I'm going to make a video and I'm going to share it with Patrick so he can make an article about how to get some of that experience back of minimizing your time spent traveling on long trips, because
you are definitely an expert.
Minutes.
I would like to see you do the same trip with just following their recommendation and then doing it again with your optimization.
Okay, we'll need a good long while for like a holiday of some sort.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's 2 coming up. We'll see what we can do.
Actually, I was hoping that navigation would allow some personalization of navigation, that you'd be able to indicate that you like shorter stops because you charge faster. Maybe, maybe that's a time-sensitive thing as opposed to I like shorter stops. You're indicating that I would like to be the most efficient at the travel time as opposed to longer chargers. So, because it's always been said that if you run the battery down to a low amount and then charge up to like a 70-80%, that's better than, of course, charging to the full amount or to 90% because you're waiting longer. A full glass takes a lot longer to charge than a partially full. So,
especially since lithium doesn't have a memory effect. I mean, like somebody must have told, or enough people must have told the navigation team that, oh my goodness, it's so hard to make 6 stops on one trip. And then they cut it down to 1 or 2 stops per trip, which is...
And I think that really has something to do as well with the experience of the owner of the car. Because as the 3 of us know, we're pretty confident when the car is giving us an ETA and a state of charge when we're approaching. And with the amount of more superchargers now being on the network, it does give us an out that we can, okay, you know what, that I'm going to push it a little bit further. I think I can get to the next stop. And if the car starts to alert you, you can always bail on that plan and stop on a supercharger that's partway in between. So
Mhm.
I think the experience of the driver would allow us to be more comfortable in pushing it a little bit further than somebody that just got their car.
And like we discussed at the semi event, it has gotten even more accurate, like to the point where every time I plug in a trailer, it assumes I've plugged in a fully loaded U-Haul cube, which so far has been true.
Next, you'll find that your icon shows the trailer's already attached to your car.
It does, actually. You get in the car and there's this blue trailer facing you back on your screen.
When it gets to the point where it's adjusting, oh, you just had a meal. I'm going to.
Did you do the all-you-can-eat buffet? Then we're going to ramp it up a little bit more. Please enter what you ate. Yeah, exactly. That's probably got a little bit too far, but that's what we do in this show, so that's okay.
Hey, it makes it more fun.
Pulling over to a restaurant so you can use the bathroom and leave a couple pounds.
Yeah, there we go the opposite way. Right. Oh, man. Well, let's wrap this up before we get into really uncharted territory, which we're rapidly heading there. Patrick, any shout-outs for the end of the show?
Sure. I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And tomorrow we're having our holiday event. So pizza and soda, and it's going to be a good time. So if you're in the Oregon area, check out our website and come have some pizza with us. And also I blog at cardswithcords.net. Check that out. Thank you.
And check out the article that Patrick wrote about our first story.
Yes. It's very detailed.
If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. And, of course, if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's not like we're going to be sending you a check if you wait any longer. So go ahead and subscribe now. It helps us out. We would really appreciate it.
It also helps us with our mission. What's that mission, Patrick?
Oh, yeah. A future free from fossil fuels.
And
so we can electrify all the things.
Yes.
Casey, what do you got cooking for us? What updates do you have for us today?
So allegedly, I've got 2 FSD beta updates inbound. We'll see, because I'm a legacy car and I'm not a safest driver who didn't have to pass the safety test. Yes, I'm still salty.
Not bitter at all. Not bitter at all.
Just a little bit. And as I said, I've got the speeding up your Tesla long haul trips, because if you had a chance to actually inspect my driving history, you'll see that I have, when I'm driving at all, because lately I've been working from home, I either take these really short trips, like errands to the grocery store, or I go on these multi-state adventures. There's nothing in between for me. So I've got a little bit of wisdom to pass on to you, because as I said, these young ladies had just got their Model 3 performance, and they missed their Thanksgiving dinner because they were listening to the car as far as how they should charge, when they should charge. And they have these tips that I'm about to give you guys on this video. They would have at least got the end of dinner, assuming they left on time. And don't let this happen to you. So watch the video over at youtube.com/CaseyGreen. And on Sundays, I do a show similar to this, but we bring in a little more than just the Musk companies, or we also bring in a lot of the rest of the Musk companies. And yeah, I think you might enjoy it. Have a chat with us.
Good stuff.
Very good. Very good. Want to thank Derek, Trent, JT, Maya, Hockey Day, Anders, and more that joined us in the chat room. Yeah. Thanks very much, everyone. Everyone, enjoy your week, and let's get together next Wednesday to discuss what is happening in the Tesla life. Thanks, Lee Moon, for the music.
Absolutely.
Stay positive. Test negative.
Yes. All right, I'm going to try to push this button that I've got, and if that works, then we're good. If it doesn't work, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. It didn't work. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. Catch me on the flip side.